Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm Miriam Dow, wife, mama for real estate investor and entrepreneur. First of all, Happy New Year! How was everyone's end of year holidays? What did you guys do? Last month I did travel a little bit. That's why I was MIA for the past 50 days. I haven't posted a video. But last month I went to London for the very first time. It was really nice, but very expensive. I went to Paris, visited some family there. So it was nice to get away, even though it was like a cold vacation because it was colder there than it was in the US, I feel. But it was just nice to see family, to shop, eat some croissants. So I was really happy to do that. But yeah, it was just a lot going on in the month of December. So I just needed to take a step back. It's a whole new year and I've been getting a lot of questions on medium-term rental. Just wanted to go over some of my experiences with medium-term rentals. So welcome back, y'all. It's a whole new year. I can't believe it's 2024. It feels like 2023 just flew by. Like, it just doesn't even feel real how fast time is going right now. So that's why I definitely wanted to make sure to drop a video off the first week of the year, just so we could start this year off right, y'all, because I've been slacking last year. So basically, medium-term rentals, in my experience, I feel like this is a season if you wanted to list your property on a medium-term rental, because as you know, December Q4 is when travel is at its peak, and then Q1 is when it starts to dwindle. This is when prices for traveling and resorts and stuff like that is usually lower. So people are broke after spending all that money in the holidays. So this is a perfect time for you to list your property. I feel like the first 3 to 6 months of the year is the first perfect time to list your property on Furnish Finder for a medium-term rental. Now, as you know, all of my properties are on Furnish Finder except the pink unit, but I do have my properties on Furnish Finder, so I'm constantly getting inquiries. I had this lady message me talking about she wanted to come to my property, but she got like 4 or 5 dogs, so absolutely not. And then I also have like insurance companies reach out to me too. So sometimes they're reaching out to you on behalf of their clients. Maybe I had someone reach out to me saying that a client had like a flood in their home and they needed to be reallocated for a minimum of 3 months. Like they'll give you a call or they'll email you asking you questions like, hey, is this available for these dates? And sometimes like they have people who are looking to move in, like the insurance people, like right away, like that same week. So I don't really get a chance to book those because most of the time my calendar is already packed. I got like 4-day reservation here, 2 days next week, so I can't really cancel those reservations. It only works out when I have someone reach out to me that's looking to come within 2 to 3 months. So I'll tell you about experience I had. I had someone that was really close to coming in. This was in the month of November, I believe. Feels like it was yesterday, but it feels also like November was like 2 months ago. So basically she's a nursing student. She lives in Jersey, but her university is about, I think, like a 2-hour drive from where she lives. So she wanted to come to my property, my 1-bedroom unit, so she could be at least 30 minutes drive from the university where she's going for nursing school. And she needed the property, I think, for about 3 months. So she wanted it from November, December, and then January. And she said maybe longer. So before her, I had a tenant that was really interested. She retired. I think she moved from Florida back to the East Coast, but she had a job as a overnight nurse. So she was interested in going to the property. But when I spoke to her, she was like, do you have heat? And I'm like, yeah, I got heat. She was like, she saw this house and she really liked it. And the landlord was like, but he doesn't have no heat or something crazy. And I'm like, no, I have heat. I have all the appliances are working and all that. So she asked me to give her the address. It's a little bit different. Like on Airbnb, you don't share the address until after the client has booked. With Furnish Finder, these people are going to be living there 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So they want to actually, take a look. And I don't mind that too. I actually promote that. I want you to go take a look around the area. I'm not going to be there to show you in. You're not going in the house, but I want you to take a look and get a feel for the area. So she took a look, she drove around, and she called me. She was like, it's not going to be a good fit. I don't really like the area. And that was fine. I had another gentleman. He was moving from, where was he moving from? I think like Vegas or something, as a nursing student as well. No, he was going to be like a travel nurse. He was a travel nurse. So he's currently a travel nurse at one hospital where he is in Vegas, and he's about to become a travel nurse close to where my house was. But I kept asking him, like, are you familiar with Trenton? Because I don't want people to come from these bougie places and then they see the interior pictures are beautiful and then they come and they hate it. I don't want that experience. I just want you to know, do your research. Here's the address. Google Maps, do what you got to do. If you like it, then we can move forward, and if you don't, you don't. So the problem with him is people do not screen their tenants, and I'm a screener, okay? As you know, my very first Airbnb sat vacant from March to September because I screened over 40 applicants and they kept lying on their application. I'm actually calling the employers. If you're telling me you worked there for 6 years and I call them and they say you just started last month, you're lying. If you tell me it's just you moving into the house and I call the landlord and I ask the landlord who you live with and they're like, oh yeah, he has a wife and 4 kids. So why are you lying on your application? So I just kept going through a whole bunch of that, and I'm always a screener. Like, I tried to record myself as I was calling these, as I was doing my screening calls so that you guys can have that footage, but unfortunately I couldn't. My other phone was dead and I just wanted to get the calls out of the way. So for this gentleman, he was the first person that I was actually, liking. He sent me, there's this, I think it's called Rent Spree. I'm gonna go through my apps because I did this in November, so I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's called Rent Spree, where it's free for me. I just go in, I create an account, and then I put the prospective tenant's email address in there. It sends him a link. And then he goes and he applies on there, and I believe they pay, I think, $30, and it sends me like their background check, their credit report. So, I see if they have a criminal record, and it's very easy to use because I was struggling trying to figure out what to do here, y'all. But shout out to Lila. Lila was the one that put me on, my realtor. So I just Googled like how to do a background check on tenants, and this was one of the things that came up. She gave me another one, but this one was actually a little bit easier than the one she gave me. Downloaded the app and it was super easy. So he sent that to me within the next day. Credit looks good. I got the information from, his previous, where he lived previously, and his current landlord. So I went start calling, right? This man put on, I don't remember the figures, y'all. This was in November. A lot has happened since then. So I don't remember figures. I'm just going to give you guys examples. He put on the application that his rent was like, for his current, where he was currently living, he put on the application that his rent was like $1,200 because I was charging $2,000 a month. Now I can make more than that on Airbnb, but for medium-term rentals, it's usually in the middle. It's going to be more. Now, if I was to list this as a short-term rent, as a regular rental that someone has like for a year, 2 years, I could list it, maximum I could list it for would be maybe $1,000, $1,100. And if I do it on Airbnb, sometimes I'm making $3,500. So, that's the high end. Now in the middle, I listed it for, I believe, $2,000 for this property. And that comes with everything. I'm not giving them laundry, so they have to do laundry off site. And that's with them paying their own cleaning fees. I'm gonna have my cleaner come in there once a month, and I was charging them $200 for the cleaning fee. And they would need to give me 1 month rent, 1 month deposit up front. So, they're paying at least 2 months up front if they're gonna be there for 3 months. Some people opt to pay the whole thing up front, but I'm not trying to deal with that. Like, I have anxiety when it comes to all these squatters and stuff like that. So run me my money before you come in my house, okay? So, and then I was going to charge additional for a pet fee. Like if you're going to come with a pet, I was going to charge you additional monthly on top of that, but I wasn't accepting pets in this particular property. This is the Golden Era unit, where it's just 1 bedroom. This is like one of the newer units in the duplex. So I called the current landlord and she tells me, yeah, he's renting a room for $500. Sir, you put $1,200 that you're paying here. So you have to make sure, like, you have to put 2 and 2 together. Like, you're going to go from paying $500 a month and you can afford to pay $2,000. So then that was the first red flag. Then I called the previous landlord, and that was also, he added, like, I think he said he was paying $1,200 or something like that on there, but he was only paying $1,000. But they said he was always on time with paying his rent. But he fluffed it a little bit, like he added a few hundred more. But why are we lying though? We need to have transparency here. I've spent thousands on this house, so I need to make sure I trust wholeheartedly the person that I'm about to hand the keys to for you to be living in my house in 3 months, because I don't want us to have no problems. And then all those horror stories you see where people banging shit up, pouring cement down the pipes and the sinks and stuff, we're not doing none of that. So those are the red flags for me. And then I called his current employer, verified the pay stubs that he sent me that was accurate. But more importantly, I need to get a hold of the new employer that you're going to be working with in New Jersey, because I need to make sure what you put here is accurate, you know, that you can actually afford this. And I was feeling a little off because first, he's not familiar with Trenton, never been there a day in his life. Second, this is the East Coast, homeboy's coming from somewhere else. Third, you lied about how much you paying. Like, that's $700 is a big difference. You're paying $500 for a bedroom, and you told me you're paying $1,200 of rent. Like, I don't know if they think people are not screening. I'm screening. I'm a screener, and you guys should be too. So those were the red flags for me. And then I called him. I told him, he gave me the new employers information. The numbers he gave me, I've been leaving messages, and I also emailed the manager, his supervisor. They never got back to me. So a few days later, he was like, how come this is taking so long? And I'm like, well, I still haven't heard from your employer that you're going to be working with in New Jersey. I need to do employment verification before we can even move forward. And then he was like, well, you know what? You're asking for too much. I'm no longer interested. I'm like, sir, you already lied on your application. I done caught 2 red flags already. And now I can't get a hold of your new employer. And you really think someone's going to let you rent their house without getting your employee's information to verify that you're actually going to be making X, Y, and Z amount? This is not even an option for you, because now I'm no longer interested in giving you this property. So we moved on from there. And it's a lot. Like, it's a lot. I'm used to my little Airbnb. Let me rephrase that. I'm used to my big Airbnb. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're interested. Airbnb does all the marketing for me. You send me an inquiry. I answer your questions. I screen you. I ask you if you're coming with pets. It's booked. We know you coming in. Your dates are sealed. You already sent that money to Airbnb. Your dates come. I send you the code. It's very easy. You get what I'm saying? But with this situation, it's like I gotta call 2-3 different like previous landlords. I gotta leave them a message, wait for them to call me back. I gotta call the employer. I have to see and always ask open-ended questions. Never confirm. So if he tells me he gets paid $20 an hour, I call the employer. Hi, my name is Miriam. I'm actually a potential landlord for Jimmy Smith that's looking to come to my property here. Just wanted to ask you some verification questions. How long has he been employed with you guys? So he could write that he's been employed there 2 years, and I wait for an answer. That silence, the awkward silence, don't feel awkward. Wait for an answer. Don't try to fill in the silence with, he put here 2 years. Is it about 2 years? So they could be like, because me and my manager, I haven't had a manager that I wasn't really cool with. Only one manager that I wasn't really. But me and my managers are cool. So they go and say whatever I put on the application, to be honest. That's just the kind of relationship I have with my managers. So I don't know what kind of vibe or what kind of relationship you got with this man. I need you to answer the question. And one of the people that I called, she was like, oh, I don't have the information in front of me right now. I'm like, okay, well, miss, call me when you do, because this is not what we're doing. I'm not giving you the information for you to confirm. I need you to give me the information so that it can match what I have on my files. So, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, he started January 2020. We pay him $20 an hour. Really good. He comes on time. He's good. Da, 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 da. Then from there, you would have to also call like the new employer. And then I call at least like 2 previous landlords to make sure, you know, he pays on time, you know, he didn't move out and wreck the house. You get what I'm saying? So you got to call the previous one and then the current one. So it's just a lot of work that I'm just not used to. Like, I feel like it's on the front end is, so people say it's like more passive. You're not doing as much work than like when you're hosting, I guess. But I feel like on the front end, it's a lot of work, because all this work I'm doing, all this talking I'm doing, all these calls I'm making. Okay. So that happened and it ended up not working. I just was like, yo, I just called all these people and this didn't even end up working. Mind you, sometimes, so what happened with the third person, I'm just like, let me just take a break. Okay, and not even respond to these people. The third guest that I told you about, she lived about two hours away from her school. She's really interested, and she's married, but it's her husband who's going to be paying, because she's a student right now, so she has no income. So it's her husband that's going to be paying the rent, right? So I'm like, okay, well, it's your husband that's going to need to apply, okay? Because I need to know how much he's making and if he can afford your current situation plus this on top. If you're not going to be contributing, like you're going to be staying there, but the lease needs to be in his name, right? I talked to my lawyer. He sends me like a template lease that people usually use, and I can add or take away what I don't like. So I'm adding little things in there, pet policies and all that stuff. He has all that lawyer terminology in there. And then I called the husband's employer, the previous employer. They verified his information. The current employer couldn't verify the income. So she was busy or something. So I was like, okay, well, I did send you an email. So just respond to me when you have time. She gets back to me like 7 days later. Mind you, they own their house, right? So there's no tenant that I can call because they own their house. It's not like I could call the mortgage company, right? So I couldn't do that, but I did call the previous tenant, a previous landlord, and that was fine. No red flags there. So the only red flag was it took the employer, the current employer, a long time to get back to me. And I think he had like 2 jobs. He didn't have 1 job. So one employer got back to me, the second employer didn't. So the meantime, she's like, hey, I really need to start studying. I really wanted to move next Monday, da 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 da. And right now, as of now, my calendar was pretty much open. So with Airbnb and Trenton, with my units, I see people usually book like 2-3 days before they come, a week before they come. There's no 2-3 months people booking, whereas my first Airbnb that I've been hosting for over 2 years now, people are booking out a little bit farther out. But this new Airbnb, the one night, it's, I guess, a lot of last minute trips. So it was open. So then she's getting upset, and I'm like, it's not me. Like, your husband's employer still hasn't gotten back to me. Tell your husband to get to his employer to respond to me, because I need to do employment verification before we can move forward. So then they finally get back to me. So now I'm working on the lease, right? And this was like on a Saturday. In the midst of that, Sunday, and then I work on a lease. I send it to my lawyer. So now I'm waiting for him to okay everything before I can send it to her. Once I send it to her, then she could send me the deposit. So then I'll block the dates. I'm not blocking the dates. Never block the dates until the lease is signed. So then the Monday she was looking to come in, someone booked it for like 2-3 days. So I was like, okay, this week is already booked out for a few days, unless you want to come in and then come back when they leave, or we could just do it the following week. So this was when I was waiting now for my lawyer to get back to me with the lease. I don't know, he was super busy. He didn't get back to me. So in the midst of that, someone booked the dates that she wanted, but for like 2 weeks. And in that 2 weeks, that reservation on Airbnb came out to $2,300, and she was about to book it for 1 month for $2,000. So as soon as I got the notification, I sent her an email. I'm like, hey, I am so sorry about this, but someone actually just booked the dates from this date to this date. Do you want to, come in after they leave? Da, da, da. And she's like, you know what? This is so unprofessional. I've been waiting. Should not have let someone book the house because I've been waiting. I'm like, I'm sorry, but we needed to have a signed lease before I can block off the days. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm making more money anyway with less work. I didn't call. Then I'm like, I did all this work. I didn't call these people. And at the end of the day, your husband's employer took like a week, because when it's business days, he took like over a week to get back to me. So she was hella pissed off. And then from there, the inquiries I was getting on Furnish Finder, I'm like, you know what? This is not even the month for this, because November, December is Q4. This is when you make bank on Airbnb. So I'm like, I'm just going to ignore the people that send me inquiries on Airbnb. Then I got that inquiry about the lady with the 4 or 5 dogs. Miss, absolutely not. No. So now that we're in January, I'm going to go open up my Furnish Finder app, and I'm going to start responding to people, because I was getting people inquiries. I just was ignoring them because I was like, I can't deal with this, because this shit is too much work. You know what I'm saying? Because then they're also looking at 2-3 other people. And by the time I'm done, I'm like, this is too much. And she was mad because she was like, I paid the $30 for the background check. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is the process. I cannot block the dates off until we have a signed lease. So that has been my experience with medium-term rentals. I haven't yet actually had a medium-term rental tenant. Hopefully this season will be a little bit better, but my real estate career is actually going to take a little turn this year, 2024. I'm not going to say nothing yet, because I feel like in the past, when I do speak on things before they happen, it's a shit show. So you're just going to be learning about it after it happens. But I'm still filming content, and I'll be, having that content posted, not in real time, but I'm filming what's going on behind the scenes, and you guys will know all about it. But yeah, I'm taking a little bit turn with everything that's going on with inflation and stuff like that, taking a little bit of a turn. But please, guys, please give me video ideas. put it in the comment section down below. Send me a DM. I'm really excited about 2024. I hope you guys are too, and I really miss you guys. So be nice in the comments. Give me some video ideas. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.